I'm Victoria. I'm Vanessa. Yeah, it's okay if you can't tell us apart. I guess we would call it Twingineering. Yeah.
3, 2,
2, 1. Welcome
welcome
back.
back to our
25th
25th.
episode of Twingineering. Victoria, take it away.
Okay. If this is your first time listening to our podcast, definitely go listen to other episodes. But we created this podcast as a resource for Latinas and other first generation minorities in engineering by providing advice, knowledge that we have, our own testimonies, and bringing guests on our podcast as well. Um, Today we do not have a guest, but we will be talking about our future goals with the podcast, turning 25, our personal goals, because we did hit 2 years of this podcast in January. We are a month late, but you know what? Life happens.
February 1st. We're still there, kind of.
Yeah. We made it today is what matters.
Yeah.
So we'll start off with some weekly highs and lows to get the conversation flowing. And then we will move on to something that we learned, that we tried, something new, and then we'll go into today's theme. So we'll start off with the lows, and then we'll bring it up. Vanessa, do you want to go first?
Sure. So today I went to an open studio for pottery. I go to open studios instead of taking the class. But anyways, last week I made or 2 weeks ago I made this like bowl plate. So it's like a plate, but it's almost a bowl, like those pasta plates kind of. Anyways, it was fine when I trimmed it. And then I went today and then there was a crack, not only on the top, but on the bottom. So now it's you can't eat like food from it. You could put like chips or nuts. I've made a few of those because of the cracks. So
Yeah, maybe you can put like some papers, your jewelry.
that's true. That's true. I'll make it a jewelry thing.
Wait,
I'll just like draw
you can
more cracks so that way it looks like it's part of it.
you can hang it as an art piece. All
Like,
right. So my weekly low was the political climate. All right. But besides that, we're keeping it light today. So I think it was this week. Um, so I get smoothies from Robex because it's like near my gym. And after like a certain number of smoothies that you buy, well, like you earn rewards and points, you can get a free one, you know? And so I was so excited because I was like, I'm gonna get this one for free. Like, and because I wasn't really trying to like spend money. I was like, I'm gonna save. And then that was like my convincing, uh, the thing that convinced me basically. Because I was like, I'm gonna get it for free. I don't have to make my own smoothie at home, wash dishes.
yeah.
And then so I was like going through the app, ordering it. And then what do? I pay for it. I forgot to apply the reward.
Oh my God.
But it's fine. I got a free one today, like a week later. Anyways,
It's okay.
that was my
At
low.
least you still got one for free.
I know. I was just like so like how could I betray myself like that? I let myself down. Okay, so we'll go into the weekly highs.
Yes.
Um, so my high is that I went to a trivia night and won third.
We love trivia nights.
Yeah, they are so fun. It was actually at Truly LA. They have them, I think, on Wednesdays. Um,
What was the theme?
I don't really know.
Random?
Yeah, the rounds were like different each time. I
Hmm.
did so well like on the practice round though. So, but it didn't count. But I was like, boom, boom. And then like on the other ones, I just like got some wrong. But like, you know what? We made a comeback at the end.
You were carrying the team or what?
I'm gonna say yes because my team's not here to fight for themselves. Um, yeah.
For me, my weekly high is yesterday I got my hair trimmed and gloss. So it's like it's not blonde anymore. It's kind of like this gray, like toned thing. So it's not like blonde. And then I
Mhm.
cut it. I was supposed to cut it like 2 weeks ago. But it snowed that day. And it was only snowing from the time I was gonna be on the road. So I was like, not me. I will reschedule for it. And then I rescheduled and I was like, hopefully that day has like better weather. And it did. It was like sunny or it rained, but it's okay. But anyways, yeah. What do we think?
Nice. Trimmed and glossed. That's what it looks like.
Okay, perfect.
So moving on, we're gonna talk about something that we learned in our current role or something new that we tried. Um, Always good to give some recommendations, share some knowledge. All right, so I recently went to this coffee shop or like bubble tea shop. It's called Vivote Craft Cafe. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. It's in Fullerton.
Mm,
And I tried my first hojicha latte there and a matcha flight. 10 out of
congrats.
10. No, matcha's not grass. What does it sound? That's why it's like if matcha
If
tastes like grass, matcha tastes like grass. Well, if matcha tastes like grass, then I'm a cow or something like that. That's basically me. It tastes so good there though. I feel like you should try it.
okay, yeah, maybe I will. If you
Oh
take
yes. Yeah.
um yeah, for me, I am trying to learn how to do a kip-up. If you don't know what that is, I'm not gonna explain it right now. So look it up. But you're basically like trying to kick up off the floor and like pushing yourself. So you like lay, and then you're like, you know, and I feel like it looks easier than it actually is. Um, I am closer though from when I first started doing it because like I felt the push that I needed to do, but I'm not there yet, so I'm still learning. Um, I don't know, I could put it on my resume once I get it.
Yeah. You could teach us on the podcast how to do
Okay. Yeah.
it.
That would be our icebreaker. We won't do weekly highs and lows. We'll just I'll teach you how to do the give up.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Moving on to today's episode theme.
Yeah.
As I mentioned earlier, we hit 2 years recently. So we're going to be going into some accomplishments, topics maybe that we talked about, plans, and then us, our personal goals and turning 25.
Yeah.
Um, so accomplishments. This year we definitely increased our audience, I think on all platforms. So that includes like TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube.
Hmm. And listeners, right, on like
Oh
the
yeah, and listeners on like Spotify and then Apple
yeah.
Podcasts is like tied to that. So um really proud of that. We can see like through the app. I don't have the exact numbers on me, though that's probably would have been good to have.
Yeah.
Um, but we reached like definitely an increase of in followers on at least social media and um our views have been doing pretty well. So I'm hoping that, we start to receive like more followers, reach a larger audience this year. And we've also received a lot more feedback on our podcast, which I think is pretty cool. Um, I've had a couple people like come up to me and say that they listen to our podcast or like even if it's just like one episode and we have like positive feedback mostly. And then if it's not positive feedback, then it's like mostly suggestions or like what we can have on our podcast, like what people would like to listen to. And we really appreciate that because we want to be able to um be a resource or have this podcast be a resource. So if there's anything that, you know, you feel like we can touch on, definitely like submit that, send us a DM, um, or on our website. And yeah, just reach out.
Yeah. Also, just shout out to the people who have also supported us. Um, like also since like year day one, but also like the new people who um thought, the podcast or the concept was interesting and you took the initiative to follow. And then also people who actually listen. Like sometimes it's hard to comprehend that people actually listen to this and it's not just me and Victoria talking to each other.
Yeah, like honestly, I feel like once we like just hit submit, like we're just hearing ourselves and then like it just goes into
Yeah.
the sky.
But like when people reach out and then they're like, oh, like I listened to the podcast and like I can relate. And I just think, like when people like send those messages, I'm like, oh my God, my heart is gonna melt and fall out of my chest. Like, like, just like
I know.
the support is there. And then I'm like, okay, like, we're not just talking to each other and it does have an impact. So,
Yeah, and it's definitely a reason to keep going. So like if you feel that, you know, our podcast has helped, definitely share that.
yeah.
'Cause sometimes we're like, what like do we even continue this month? Like I don't know, you know?
Yeah.
Like yeah, and then also if there's any people who you'd want to see on the podcast, like please let us know.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um
we also like we try to reach out to like people we directly know or when people's like suggest them to us. So um sometimes we run out of ideas, so we are welcome to any.
yeah. Um I'll just touch a little bit about like what topics we talked about this year. This includes like guests and no guests, obviously. So I'm just gonna name topics.
Okay.
So our last episode or previous episode was about embracing your own path as a college student. And I think that one was important because we didn't have like, I mean, we had our own college experience, but like someone currently in college shared their experience and we had her on. And I think that's important. Definitely now, like we want to probably do that every year.
Yeah, just like what
Um,
changed, what hasn't.
yeah. And like resources. We also talked a little bit about our 20s. So that one was a little bit less engineering related, more lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we talked about generational differences in the workplace. Um, there's definitely an age gap in our field of work. So, there was a lot to talk about in that episode. Um, we talked about imposter syndrome, taking every opportunity, um, and like saying yes, basically like getting your experience.
Yeah.
Um, we talked about more than engineering, so engineering and intellectual property. And I think that also covered ethics in engineering, which was a huge topic this year. Um, I
Yeah.
mean, in the last 2 years, especially with everything going on. I think now more than ever, it's important. Please go watch that episode. No, just kidding.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, how, oh, we also had a software engineer on our podcast, Corina, and it was more about her, how she became a software engineer. Um, she was, I think, our only software engineer, so definitely go listen to that if you're interested in software engineering, taking a different route. So maybe you studied engineering, but you like move into like program management, business. Um, so if that's something you're thinking about, go ahead, listen to that. And then I think that covers everything.
That we have this year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, like the topics that we've had, we've also been just really lucky to have the connections and network we do to provide, information on these topics that Victoria and I can't talk out of like expertise. So, yes, shout out to our guests as well for willing to yap with us and share information.
Yeah. We had six guests this past year. And we thank every single one definitely for sharing your time. Um, So yeah, I think that's it for like stuff this year. So we can talk about like our future plans for the podcast. We definitely want to continue the podcast, okay? Yeah.
You can't get rid of us yet.
Because we still want to keep going.
Yes.
Um, well, I mean, this year we want to continue to have more guests, and possibly like collaborate with people, brands, if anyone wants to reach out.
Hey, yo.
If anyone wants to fund, I don't know. Um,
We collab. We'll wear it on here.
oh yeah, let us know. Give us a shirt.
I'll wear all of it. You give me a hat, a t-shirt, like sunglasses, I'll wear it all.
Um, I also take coffee. I'm
Oh,
just kidding. Okay.
man.
We also definitely want to double our double our reach, audience. Um, so just an increase in numbers on all platforms. I think we've done a good job, definitely. I think because it always surprises me that people listen. So, we've done a good job so far on reaching like our target audience, but I do think that like we both have 9 to 5s, so it gets kind of hard to like continue to uh like advertise the podcast as much as we'd want to on social media.
Mhm.
We have like outside lives, social
Yeah.
lives, like hobbies, um, things like
Yeah.
that. So definitely more of a goal this year. Um, and also if anyone wants to have us featured on something, if anyone wants us to come in and talk about
Our
anything.
experience, like the podcast, like how we came up with the idea, what's it like being twins and engineering. You
Yeah.
know.
Anything related to our experience, just let us know. I think we're definitely open to just like vibing. Um, I
We
would see if
would
it's like something crazy, then no, but
we would love to be invited to things.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I mean,
things that are fun.
yeah.
And that,
Conferences, yap sessions, other podcasts, let
yeah,
us know.
exactly. Um, you know, like grand openings of stuff,
Yeah. We also
restaurant.
dance, so like if you want to book us, that's okay too.
We could show you our resume. I'll show you our choreographed dances.
I was in the
Forget the
dance team in
podcast.
high school. Oh my God.
Anyways, but no, seriously. We do want to do more besides
Yes.
just like hop on our Zoom.
Yes.
Um, and yeah, so 2 years,
Collaborate.
huh?
Collaborate.
Yeah, we're open.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have anything else to add, Vanessa, in like regards to accomplishments, guest topics, or like future plans?
Mm, I think you pretty much covered it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we can move on to turning 25 and our personal goals. So if you don't know, both me and Vanessa are Sagittarius.
Yes.
Is
Sagittarius is.
yeah, Sagittarii. Just kidding. And just thought, my bad. And then it was in December. Sorry, we turned 25 in December, pretty recently.
Mhm.
And yeah, we share a birthday.
Right. So we turned 25 on opposite ends of the US.
Yeah,
But I turned 25 before she did, technically. Oh.
according to like Eastern time, which like really doesn't make sense if you think about it, but I'm just kidding.
Well,
Yeah.
and
So we'll move into our personal goals. Vanessa, do you want to go first?
yes. So one thing is I do want to focus on saving money. I have well, December I spent a lot, but also that's like those the holidays. Like I traveled as well. Um, but I just want to find ways to like put money away um for the future, but also like, necessities and whatnot. Um, I know like when I first started and then like first started getting money, I was like, okay, like now I want to explore like hobbies that I never like funded for myself. So now that I was able to have the opportunity to do it, I have been. But now it's just kind of like, my frontal lobe is developed. I should save money. So it's like, okay, budgeting as far as like groceries, right? So like plan my meals and so that way I'm not like overspending and then like stuff goes bad.
Yeah.
Um and then I also want to be more consistent with a night routine. I sometimes like I struggle to sleep. But I've recently tried to I guess like 30 minutes to an hour before I plan to go to bed, like I start, like washing my face, brushing my teeth, the fun stuff, and then I try to read at least. I'm starting with like 10 minutes, just to, not like spend like so much time that I lose like a lot of sleep. But I think it has like calmed my brain because I'm only focusing like on the reading and then it kind of like tires out my brain so I'm not going to bed with just like thoughts or like looking at, like the phone and then you recall like the video you just watched or something. So I think it just kind of helps my mind wind down and I've tried it a few times this week. And it has been successful. So I'm gonna try to keep doing that. It also forces me to read because I've been wanting to, but I never like set time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, but also travel, as well. I have set some dates and stuff, partial like for dance, but also um personal life stuff. So yeah, I'm excited for what's to come with that.
Nice. I feel like we have some similar ones. Um, one of my goals is to move out. Which has really been a goal of mine since I moved back in, but we gotta save money to do that. Okay. So and that also comes to the next one, which is saving money. And I have been doing that, but I guess just like finding new ways to, and I think I started to meal prep also. So like buying groceries like for the week or like stuff that will last you for like different meals for the month.
Yeah.
Like basics, but then also like stuff that's like more specific to
Yeah.
the week. And I think that has also saved me a lot of money because I mean, like you said, like you're not like overspending. You're like, oh, I don't have lunch today. So like you go out and buy it.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, like, and I think I've been doing pretty well with that. Like I'll still buy like a smoothie after the gym or like sometimes I'll get like a coffee, but it's not like as frequent as I was doing it before.
Yeah.
Um, and I also want to travel. So save but travel. Um, we'll be
Safely.
mindful. Yeah, we'll be mindful.
Yes.
Um, and physically, like I want to um gym more. And I
Yeah.
have been doing that like pretty consistently, but like just keep going. And then definitely dance more. Um, I like recently signed myself up for like a performance or like wanted to be a part of it, so I'm doing one this month. Um, and then just like I feel like I just need to like continue to like put myself in some kind of like dance something,
Yeah.
whether it's like a class pass, a program, performance,
Yeah.
um, and just be more consistent because I've been telling myself that, and I know that I want to see myself like grow and like do more,
Hmm.
as a dancer, and it won't happen if I just like don't do anything, obviously. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so that I'm basically done. with what I have to say. Are you
Yay.
okay? Um, so we can move on to the submitted questions. So we have three questions today. First one, advice for new engineers entering the industry.
That's a good one.
That's a question.
It
I'm
is.
just Um, I feel like we've gotten similar questions to this on previous like episodes.
Yeah.
And I feel like I always say the same thing, but I'm trying to see if I can like add on or um but I think something that we consistently say is like not being afraid to like ask questions,
Yeah.
but that comes with like practice and doing it. Um
I think also like owning your position, especially like I know like we talk about being like first gen and then not knowing, what you're walking into, because it's like a new environment. No one has experienced this before. So you're pretty much going in with your positivity, um, and confidence or the lack of.
yeah.
But I think the only way to push past the um like imposter syndrome or the lack of confidence is one to like just tell yourself that you are there for a reason, but also like do what you can to um like grow as an engineer in your position. So like Victoria said, like asking questions or like stepping out of your comfort zone. Maybe it's as simple as like, oh, I need to form emails better. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
um just kind of keep showing up for yourself, and even if you feel like you did bad a certain day, know that that's just like a part of the growth process, because like what came out of that is like, okay, you learned something, like, okay, um, what I was doing before maybe was not the best way to approach it. And, you learn tips and stuff from like other people. Um, Especially like if you do enter like a big company, like you have to learn not only, your role, but then like how the company functions. So also just give yourself grace. Um, you walk into something new, you're not supposed to know everything. So, um, yeah, just take everything as a learning experience as well.
Yeah, I would say also I took a lot of notes and I still do. And it has
Yeah.
helped me a lot. Like I think if you just like if you try to remember everything, it's gonna be so tough. Like you can't unless you have like an incredible memory, then props to you. But like um just like processes or like things that work, things that didn't, how to do certain things, like where things are, like for yourself and like I guess for others, like if others ever need it, like that's also helpful. But mostly for yourself, like um I don't know, I think notes just help me. I mean, sometimes it can be like a bit much where it's like I take all these notes and like maybe I don't need them all, but like at some point
Yeah.
that like I need to go back to them and I'm like, thank you, past self, your
Yeah.
future self thanks you.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And then ooh, roll back on the stair. Okay. Um and I think this is like up to you, but networking also.
Yeah.
Um, how comfortable you are with it. Obviously know the people around you, and you can always use networking as like a what is it? As a tool. Like going on to like even if you don't want to stay there, like you can reach out to them, ask for help, use them as a reference. Maybe they've worked somewhere before that you want to go to next.
Yeah.
Um, you can ask them like how was working there. And yeah, I would say also find like community of some sort. Super important.
Especially now.
Yeah. Um, like if your company offers like some type of like groups or like you should go to like a conference or, definitely like reach out. Like me and Vanessa are here for you. We also know a lot of other engineers, like Latinas, our other friends who study different engineering majors. So we can start off as being your community, you know.
Yeah,
But I think that will definitely help a lot.
I agree.
Yeah, because also like they share similar experiences as you. Um,
Yeah.
like if you have similar upbringing, similar backgrounds, it's a lot more helpful.
Yes, I agree.
And yeah, I guess we can move on to the next question. Tell us a story behind this picture. Okay.
For
Question?
reference, it's a picture of us in Belle costumes.
Yeah,
Um,
we're at Disneyland, I think.
yeah. So, um, I don't remember that picture. That is a very interesting question. Um, I'm pretty sure I was having the time of my life in my cute little Belle dress, because I was Belle at Disneyland. Um, did not, never have I ever wanted to go into the Haunted Mansion, nor do I want to go now.
It's actually I've been in it. It's actually not that bad.
Mm, well,
Yeah, I was also scared. I mean, obviously we had only gone when we were like little, so I didn't want to go in it.
yeah.
But then I went into the Haunted Mansion like when I was older.
Oh, another like high was like that. Like, I saw that one of them days with
Oh
SZA.
yeah, I saw it too. I love that
So
movie. It was so
funny.
funny.
Oh my God, but the the previews beforehand, I wanted to
They're
cry.
all scary movies. I was like, oh my,
I
this is not
know.
what I came for. Um, yeah, I think we were like with our mom. I don't know if we had like the whole like makeup thingy, but we had our tennis shoes on, ready for the day in the bell
We
dress.
were. We put in some
Yeah,
steps. Those dresses put in some miles.
they did. They really did. And I think that's what we were for Halloween, like later that year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cute.
just two princesses
Just
at
just adorable.
Disneyland.
Yeah.
People were asking us for pictures. No, I was kidding. I didn't, honestly.
They're like, are you from Twingineering?
Are you the Belle from Disney? Can we take a photo?
Then the actual bell walks by and they're like, nah, that's not her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, it's just a fun day. Should I pursue a master's in EE?
Hmm. So we did have, I think our first guest that we had was Veronica. Um and she is all for it. She's pursuing her PhD.
Yeah.
But I mean in general, like grad school, and going past, your bachelor's degree, um, she felt that like the reason why she wanted to pursue it was because she did not that she didn't, but like she didn't want to jump into like the industry, right? Like she liked doing the research that she was doing, like the whole, studying and being able to research something and then present and just the environment that that grad school brings. She said like she felt like that was for her. Um, Whereas like I know some people are like, oh, after I get my bachelor's, like I wanna like I'm done with school, or they're like I wanna get some experience first. Um, but I would recommend it. I mean, like, you especially if you're interested in a specific topic. I know like once you go um higher with your education, things can be very like more specific if that I don't know if that's the right wording. But um but yeah, like if you're super interested on like one topic, um then I would go for it as well because it allows you to just explore it a lot more and be able to do more research and understand, something that you're really interested in. But yeah.
Yeah. I think it definitely depends on like what you want. Like if you see yourself um like studying something, kind of what Vanessa was talking about, and like you're kind of leaning more towards like continuing to study versus like going and getting experience, then I would say like go for it. You can also, gain experience like during the summer, maybe during a quarter, like you take a quarter off to um, like do an internship somewhere,
Yeah.
or something like that. One thing I did want to bring up is the GEM fellowship, which is basically uh it's not like a scholarship, it's a fellowship program. And they help graduate and PhD students. I just pulled it up right now, and they give you $4,000 for a living stipend per full-time semester up to 4 semesters. The minimum 16,000 total stipend over the entire master's program, up to 2 paid summer internships with the GEM employer member, full tuition and fees provided by a GEM university member. So you can look into that. If like say this is something you really want to pursue, but like financially you feel like it's not really um feasible at the moment. Um, Look into that. It's GEM fellowship. But I think it depends where you are in your college career. Like I think as you like keep going, you'll see whether you want to continue or not. I think for me personally, I was like, I don't know what I'd want to continue studying. Like, and then you have to like, what is it called? Like a thesis.
Yeah.
Defend. You have to defend your thesis, and I was like, what? Like, I don't know. No, thank you. So, and I haven't really thought about going back to school. It was just a really tough time for me. So,
I think also like if you um like if there are any professors who have a like a research position open, right? Or like they're doing some research and they have like students in their labs, like I would recommend doing that. It sounds very similar. I haven't done it so I can like say for 100%. But it sounds similar to like when you do, when you go to grad school and you're like on a specific topic. Um, so do like if you can hop on like an opportunity like that. And you can just like reach out to professors or if you see like some type of research they're doing and you're interested, like I would shoot your shot and then you can have that um experience to also help you determine if you're like, oh, would I want to keep doing this for like 4 more years? Or even just like that experience itself, like doing the research, taking the data or whatever. Like, do you want to keep doing that? I feel like that would help as well.
yeah, and I think for the like application process, I feel like building relationships with professors or people in master's programs um would help. Um, I don't know if you also need like recommendation letters. But at least with the application process, you'll most likely gain like a better idea of like what it consists of, what you need to do, when you need to start applying. Um, Vanessa and I didn't go through that. So, but you can listen to our first episode, very first episode with Veronica.
No, they're guests.
Sorry, our first guest episode with Veronica. And she talks about that a lot more and can speak a lot more on pursuing master's and PhD programs.
There's also LinkedIn if you want to reach out to her.
Yeah. Don't feel afraid. And if you want to reach out to us, to reach out to her, let
We
us
can do
know.
that too. Yes,
We're here to
support.
build community. So that was the last question. One thing I do want to say is that if you're interested, if you or like anyone who would be interested on coming onto the podcast, um, and it aligns with our vision, uh, our mission, feel free to reach out.
Yes.
But I think that's it. So be sure to visit our website. Follow us on social media. We have TikTok, Instagram. That's it. We'll be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And stay tuned for our next episode.
Yes. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.